going to continue back on. We talk about Erdogan. All these particular nations are trying to establish and make themselves back to where they were the great empires. Russia's trying to get all this land back. Turkey's trying to get all this land back. But who's that number one main problem? China's trying to get back Taiwan, right?
Yep.
All these major nations are trying to get back the lands that they once had, but guess who's the major problem? America. America's allying itself with these smaller nations, not because they give a fuck about their independence, because it wants a foothold via putting missiles on the borders of their enemies.
You just gotta remember something else. Who separated all these nations from these? Taiwan been a part of China for centuries. Who separated these nations? Ukraine been a part of Russia. Who separated these nations? You had South
India,
Germany.
Bangladesh.
Yeah, India and Bangladesh. Yeah, you had South Germany and East Germany. Or West Germany. It's like West Germany and East Germany. Who separated them two until they came back together? These Edomites, man. These Edomites have a knack for separating countries, man. To divide and conquer. So you got it back, brother.
I said Pakistan, but I believe I said Bangladesh, but I believe it's Pakistan. India and Pakistan, well, one of these.
India or Sri Lanka or India or Pakistan? I think it's Pakistan.
All right. Well, you brothers can double check, but pretty much the country that borders India was once one thing, but it was separated by who? The so-called white. All right. So these nations are looking like, wait a minute. If it's not the white man, it's America, some sort of intervention that's breaking us up. So they're gonna say, fuck that shit, man. You know, and unify themselves back as a people and destroy America, man.
North Korea, South Korea. The United States went with South Korea and considered North Korea a rogue state.
Yep. And the thing with Taiwan is they want them to wait till 2050 because eventually Taiwan has to come back part of China. And when you talk about Taiwan not being a part of China, you piss off the people in China. That's not gonna do. LeBron James has to take back his words because China, there's a billion groups, man. They move markets, so opinions matter, you know. So there's certain shit that if you say, you can lose your endorsements, man. But they want Taiwan, man. They want that shit, man.
Because of the resources. Taiwan is heavy in resources.
Well, not America got a lot of resources. They want Taiwan because Taiwan is close to China. Basically, they want
military strategy.
It's a military strategy. America wants ports and missiles. And you know what the guys America use? The guys America use is NATO. They'll say, let's just join NATO. Why they want to join NATO? Because if you're not a part of NATO, America can put military bases in NATO countries, in NATO supported countries. And those countries happen to conveniently be next to these superpowers, man. That's how come they want Georgia. All right? That's how come they want Ukraine. That's how come they want Taiwan. See?
That's right.
That was it. You read all that in Ezekiel?
Nah, I'm reading it. I did, but you want me to read it again?
Nah, if you did, you did. Go ahead and translate. Matter of fact, get Obadiah. Them that were Confederate.
I think that's Obadiah 7.
Yep. So that one, because pretty much a lot of these nations that are confederate with America are going to turn their back on America, man. They pissed off. Here it is, America is policing the world, telling them what to do. You know? Telling you what to worship. There's a video a brother put in chat, women burning their hijabs. You seen that?
Yeah, that's in Iran.
Hijabs and dancing around, throwing their hijabs. So nations are going to look at that like, why the fuck are our women doing that? Why our women got to be like your woman?
Verse 7. Obadiah. Yeah, this Obadiah verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Yeah, so all the nations that are confederate with America are pissed off with America. Go ahead.
It says the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee.
You read the part about breaking bread? Is that above or remember eating that bread? It speaks about the bread.
I just read 7. I didn't read.
All right, because I think it says them that are eating that bread. That's in the book of Obadiah.
Yep.
It's in there.
It's in there. All the men of that confederacy. I
Yeah,
think it might be under the next verse. Oh, what's that verse?
It might be verse 4.
Okay. Nobody exalt themselves with the eagle. Reference for these how to be 50 cents.
Break that bread. No? All right, bro.
All right.
Go back to that. You can't search like specifically on Hosea. Certain apps you can do that.
Like the
want me to get it for you? Or? Obadiah. Yeah. What I said? That's what I said. I meant Obadiah.
It's an Obadiah. I think verse 7. All the men of
No, that's in verse 7. We didn't get there yet.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, it's Obadiah 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Mm-hmm.
The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee.
Right, because in the scriptures speak about the brevity, the covenant of bread and salt. When one went to break bread with you, it was to establish a covenant, and the salt represents the preservation. So, in other words, our covenant shall be preserved, because salt was used to preserve meats and stuff back then. The modern day version of that is talking about these particular contracts and treaties. You know, missile treaties and this, that, and the third that these nations have set up. They're not going to remain preserved. They're going to break them shits up. You know? They're going to be acquiring missiles, acquiring these things, and they're going to say, who the fuck is America to tell us what we can and can't do? And you see that with that dude in North Korea,
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un, who speaks perfect fucking English, acting like he don't, you know? Right, brother.
It says, there is none understanding in him. It says, shall I not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom?
Yes, the wise men out of Edom. When all hell breaks loose and World War III is happening, okay, there's a lot of high-level people that's going to be put to death, but the very top elites, they're going to survive. You know? Well, we know the queen ain't going to, she's already dead, but she's going to serve, trust me, she's going to get hers in the kingdom of heaven. Hey, this brother said last week, we're going to keep her in our old body.
Bring that old body back, you know what I mean?
The old decrepit mummified. She look like Mum Ra.
Yeah, exactly. But she gonna be doing some hard fucking labor. Whatever.
Looking like Mum Ra.
It says, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and the understanding out of the mount of Esau. Esau?
Because the scriptures speak about the moon being darkened. That's going into their wisdom. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's gonna utterly destroy this fucking place, man. You know? The few, the proud, the Marines, that's gonna be toilet water. They're gonna get flushed away, man. Go ahead, brother.
It says, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by the slaughter.
And speaking of Teman, speaking of Germany, all right, they were warned. They were warned by this dude Trump not to fuck with Russia, and they didn't take heed. And they provoked the bid. Now they has it over there with no gas coming in, man, with no oil coming in, because Russia controls the Mediterranean, the Mediterranean, all right, of oil exports, man. You see? So these two major powers, Russia and Iran, control huge parts of oil coming in throughout the world, man.
Gas imports.
Yep, including Turkey.
Yep.
See? Because Iran has the Gulf of Suez. The Strait of Hormuz. They have the Strait of Hormuz, where 25% of the world oil comes through. You have Russia and Turkey control the oil in the Mediterranean to get oil and gas to Europe. So when you pissed off these nations, they're gonna attack you. You want to put sanctions on us? Well, guess what? We're gonna limit our resources to you. And that fucks everybody over. At least don't worry about that. But you know who fucks over? The average person. That's how come when you go to the pump, all right, and it's $5, $6 of gas, that's because of these skirmishes between the elites.
The plug cut off the supply.
I read this in, I was walking somewhere, and I read in a newspaper, and this is it says Germany seizes Russian energy firm subsidiaries. And it says Berlin on Friday took control of the German operations of Russian oil firm Rosneft to secure energy supplies which have been disrupted after Moscow invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, you know. So that whole shit that's going on right now, the elites. Look, man, you think Joe Biden give a fucking gas is $10? They don't give a hell, man. But who suffers? The average people. See? But yeah, man, these skirmishes are going on. That's like on the prices, everything's going up. People are revolting, losing their shit. All right, because what you have right now is what they call trade wars. You You know, that's what's happening. The trade wars,
Energy
eventually
wars.
escalate. Energy wars, trade wars, Cold War. It all eventually escalates into a hot war. And that's what we're pretty much waiting on. Once that MOTB, which is the RFID CHIP takes place, then the piece has already been set, man. You know how people set up a domino and they just flick it and everything just falls? That's what the Lord is doing. The Lord is putting all the pieces together to fulfill the scriptures that when that chip comes into place, that flick, everything else is going to fall right after.
5. Job 5 and 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Yeah, the devices of the crafty. Who are the crafty? The elites. All right? And their devices and those schemes to bring about their new world order. We know what crashing the world's economies, crashing the economies, bringing about terror acts, to bring in the martial law and a list of other events, right? It could be so-called disease outbreaks and all of this. Yeah,
they have a mantra called Order Ab Chaos, which they bid from the Most High. The Most High is the one that creates destruction and it brings peace. But they took that shit.
And people going to get that garbage truck juice put into their body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the so-called white man, he creates order out of chaos. You know. But the order that he sets up is a wicked order. That's all cool and dandy when it's done in righteousness, because the kingdom of heaven, before the kingdom of heaven takes place, is going to be complete global chaos. So it's so much that the world itself is going to rattle. All right, but out of that destruction, it's going to come back with peaceful order. What the so-called white man do, he'll create destruction and chaos, and then set up an order that just greases it up with confusion and misery. You see?
That's what this devil do.
That's what the devil does, man. Here it is. They said let's post a World War III that we could rule over the remaining 500 population. They don't even think about let's be fruitful and multiply and grow things back. They just want to rule over a small few. So that's the example that I'm trying to say. Because the Most High is talking about destruction too, but after that the Most High say, you know what? I'm gonna destroy these people, but I'm gonna create even a better kingdom. So-called white man wants to destroy everybody, create even a worse kingdom, man. Than this shit, man.
See, these devils know about reincarnation.
Yep.
So what they do is they want to have a small selective few maintain humanity under 500 million, so they can control that 500 million, and meanwhile they keep coming back and do reincarnation, keep ruling over these same small people, you know? And that's what they want.
Yep.
Habakkuk 2 verse 5 says, yea, also, because he transgressed by one.
Actually, read verse 4.
Habakkuk 2 verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
So-called white man got a wicked and preserved pure soul. Hey, Shamal said this years ago, remember Men in Black?
Yeah.
The alien dude was piloting the big ass body little alien dude. He was like so-called white people, Edomites, it's like you got demons piloting. You know what I'm saying? This is the demonic shit. The scriptures tell you in the book of Psalms, I think 55, the wicked are straight from the womb. So they had that wicked ass spirit in them as a baby. All right, brother.
It says, but the just shall live by his faith.
Right, the just shall live by faith. In terms of doctrine, all right, shall live by faith. Faith in who? Faith in Yahweh Shah. Right?
It says, yea, also, because he transgressed by one.
Right, how does he transgress by one? His philosophies. All right, going all the way back to the Greeks. He wants to westernize the world and everybody think is a Greek. Hellen is a Greek word for Greek. So Hellenization is pretty much Greekizing the whole world. Today it's called westernization. Let's westernize the world.
Or Americanization.
Americanization, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So he's still doing that same shit of spreading his madness, his wine, his philosophy all throughout the world. And that's pissing off the nations, man. Here it is, I had a 16-year-old virgin lined up for me, a 14-year-old virgin lined up for me. Now I gotta worry about bitches throwing their jobs off and want to join the military and drive cars, man. Go ahead, brother.
It says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home.
Neither keep it at home. And you know something with the so-called white man, they had no culture. When it comes to eating our food, let's have Chinese, let's have Korean, let's have Jamaican, let's have Dominican, let's have this, the Thai food. They don't have no culture of their own. And don't give me fucking pizza because the Italians and Jakes, man. You see? They have nothing of their own. All they have to do is go around and leech, going all the way back to Esau, Mount Seir. Mount Seir was the Hamite shit, man. He had to go over there and deal with their women, and, you know what I'm saying? Because he has no culture of his own, man. They can't keep at home. So either they're going around rape robbing and stealing somebody's culture, or they rape robbing and stealing their land.
It says, neither keep it at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell.
There's over, it used to be 800, but now there's close to 1,000 United States military base at any point scattered all throughout these different countries. They're in over 800 countries, I believe. United States military bases, man. Not keeping at home. But let somebody build a base over here and see what happens. See?
That ain't gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen. That's how come this place. That's why this place is a virgin. Nobody's touched it yet, but it's gonna get rammed hard. Some missiles, man.
Go get his cherry pop.
Go get his cherry pop.
It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and it is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
And it cannot. Well, one, let's deal with as death. Well, you watch that movie Planet of the Apes. It says, beware of the beast man. You know, 29th scroll.
It's a harbinger of death.
It's a harbinger of death, man.
Make your land desolate or something.
I know.
A harbinger of death, man. See? Go ahead. What you say?
You make your land desolate. Yazar Young just mentioned that to me, I believe, this morning. He quoted that, you know?
Yeah, Cornelius said that, popped out the scroll, told you beware the beast man. Because the so-called white man is death, man.
You got anything for me today?
Nah, nothing.
Nothing, right? What's the guy, what's his name, Messiah? The boy-headed guy? He had a red table.
Not too sure.
We haven't seen him. I know you're talking about. We haven't seen him in like a couple of weeks.
She disrupting the camp, though, bro.
Not too sure. But we teaching right now since it's like later. All right, it's all good. It's all good.
I know.
Yeah.
It says, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
So-called white man, all he does is death. You know, like, for example, we just saw goddamn Transformer. What could they bring forth? Death.
Death. Diseases.
Death, diseases, man. Everything that the so-called white man prescribes and put in the law leads to death. Abortion, all right, the pharmaceutical drugs, the food, the GMOs, everything he concocts is just to destroy you. You know? Come on, brother. After this, I'll close out.
It says, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Gathered unto him all nations and heaped unto him all people. That's how come, what it says on the dollar bill, Norbis Unum
Novus all Secrorum.
Yeah, all right, out of many one. It's all about unifying people. Antiochus, let's all be one. They all got that Babylonian one world shit. And you know, when you read about the Tower of Babylon and making everybody one, that's really going to the top rulers wanted that. The average people don't want that. When you go in America, there's a little Italy. Oh, that's the West Indies neighborhood. That's Chinatown. People naturally pick up with themselves and separate themselves. The ruling elites is the one that want everybody together. You know?
Just like in high school, you know, but all the tribes was linked together, but like Elam stuck with Elam. And you know, Ham stuck with Ham and things like that.
Even
but
in prison.
all the Jakes, all the tribes clicked together. I ain't gonna front. And there's one dude, people thought his name was Johnny, but that dude was an Israelite foreigner because it wasn't an act. That was him, the way he acted, you know.
Yeah, people don't naturally get together, man. Like you go to a so-called Jewish neighborhood, you can't find no oxtail and shit. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Matzo ball soup.
Matzo ball soup. You know? They food is nasty. So people naturally click up what they click up, and the brother made a good point that the tribes always click together because I could swing to a Dominican spot or get me some quesadillas from an Issacarite spot, you know. But I don't want to eat no ham doodle ass food. You know what I'm saying?
Cut.
All right, with that, we're gonna give all praises
To Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Bakakwadash.
The belongs to the apostles from death to America.
Shalom.
That's it.